You're listening to the Big Chuck Podcast, brought to you by Venue Media.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in to another show the Big Chuck podcast, man. You see, we loaded today. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I always be asking, can I get a Anglo-Saxon on an Anglo? Damn, I fucked that all up. It's an Anglo-Saxon on my show. Look, got one. Yeah, we got one. He brave enough to come on the show. And today we talking about integrity, but we gonna be talking politics and everything else. But we're gonna be talking politics because all of us agree motherfuckers need to get out and vote. If you haven't already voted, Tuesday you need to get out the house. I don't care if you stand in line or not. You need to get out the house and vote. What do y'all feel about that? You think? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you because, like I said, we got a full panel. So I'm going to have them tell them your name and then tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into the show. So I'll start with
Jeremy.
There you go. Tell them your name and a little bit of what you do.
I'm the Jeremy from The Ohio State University.
Okay.
I'm actually a welder. I changed careers to learn how to weld. No, but I am involved in politics.
Okay.
And I'm about getting people out to vote. I'm going to put it out there, vote Democrat.
Okay.
And making sure that you guys know the issues. It's important to vote.
Okay.
Why it's important to vote.
All right. Rock.
Yeah, my name is Henry Rock. I'm originally from Hagerstown. I'm currently a paralegal. And I agree with Jeremy. It's important that you vote. You know, someone once said that something worth stealing, they ain't gonna try and like keep that from you. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
basically, go vote, man. If you did it already, congratulations. But Tuesday's coming, we gotta get that man out the White House. So if you want to keep him in, you know, whatever you're doing.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Colleen Johnson, Executive Director for EARN, Expect Amazing Results Now, Incorporated, also the creator of the movement Because My Life Matters and the Hagerstown Rock the Vote event. Just here to speak my piece and encourage people to do their part all together, not just voting, but also know what you're voting for. And so I think that's a huge part of integrity right there in itself.
Yep. Like everything is going to come back to integrity. And the reason, like I was telling y'all coming in, the reason I wanted to talk about integrity, because I don't think that has to be part of what a man is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When I was young and was being raised and being around stand-up guys, they had integrity. Like that was something they stood on. They stood on their integrity. And I don't see that now. That's why I was saying I wanted, you know what I'm saying, us to talk about the word integrity. You know what I'm saying? And being that we talking about politics and everything, first thing I'm gonna talk about is, did y'all see the news what they did with the Biden van? Anybody seen?
They should have been charged with active terrorism because they literally hit that bus, forced that bus off the road, whatever. That should have been an act of terrorism.
Okay. Anybody else got something to say about that?
I would say it's definitely an action that's an assault, you know,
Yeah.
and that needs to be brought up. It needs to be held up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I would say, are we surprised? If you remember 2016, that boy stood up in his penthouse in the Chicago hotel while downstairs was a riot going on.
Exactly.
You feel me? We also seen people get spit on.
Exactly.
We also seen a black girl get pushed down to the floor. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We saw him say taking people out on stretchers.
Exactly.
You feel me? So that's been going on for 4 years.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And these kind of things are, to me, even after the election, I think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to.
Wow.
It definitely speaks to the level of the tribalism in politics.
Yeah.
That's really out of hand. Like, it used to be where you could be, you know, progressive, liberal, or conservative, and still kind of see somebody else's point.
Exactly.
But now there's no allowance for that. You know what I'm saying?
And I hate to say this, but it's voter intimidation. You see these Trump parades around?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to specific areas, and I guarantee you they're doing it for a reason. I know for a fact from an unknown source that people were calling Hagerstown Police Department stating my daughter's crying. I don't know what they were saying, but I can probably guess what they might have been saying. But black smoke coming out of their mufflers, which is against the law in the state of Maryland, I guarantee you most of them probably had a gun somewhere in their truck.
Yeah.
It's voter intimidation.
I mean, yeah. I gotta say, what's up to the people? Your cousin just, Courtney. He just chimed in. So what's going on, Courtney? What's going on, Alicia, Angie, comedian JoJo Baby? What's going on, Trish? I shout y'all out during the show, and if you got any questions, send them on there. I'll try to answer it, but don't be mad if I delay it because I'm letting everybody talk. I don't want to just cut somebody off. But with that going on, what happened with the Biden bus? You understand what I'm saying? Like you said, do you think it's going to stop? I don't think it's going to stop. No. You know what I'm saying? But like I've said many a times, and I'm going to keep saying, what they going to do is they going to invite the little Darryls in them to do what they do best. You understand what I'm saying? Because they do what they do best in an area where they're not going to get held accountable as hard because they want us to do that to each other. Yeah. But it's going to get to the point where if you bring that to politics, like in Jamaica, you understand what I'm saying? The thugs help out the politicians. Okay, so just all you Republicans think about this. Just imagine them letting, I'm just saying, just imagine them letting the goons in Philadelphia, South Philadelphia, North, West, Detroit, Chicago, intimidate people to not vote for the Republicans. Yeah. Like how y'all gonna deal with that animal?
Well, remember when the Black Panthers popped up, the new Black Panthers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But they popped up to stand guard, and they were being told that they were intimidating people.
Exactly.
So to your point, and that was an organized motion. You know what I mean? It wasn't chaotic. It was to set a presence. You know what I mean? But they were still called terrorists, right? And intimidators. So
if you weren't Martin Luther King nonviolent, you were seen as a terrorist.
Well, I'm talking about recently.
Well, no, I understand that, but I was saying is you're not seen as a nonviolent, like say John Lewis, Snick, or whatever. You're seen as a terrorist.
Well, check this out. King was seen as a terrorist.
Well,
exactly.
Right. The
Exactly.
FBI had a memo called the most dangerous man in America.
J. Hoover.
Yeah. So
see, a lot of people like to be on the right side of history with that issue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And try to use MLK as a standard of how you should protest, but they don't want to talk about what MLK was talking about in his last speech about going to D.C. to get our check. You know, a lot of people have these notions that black people in America just really want to be treated nice, and it's a lot more than that. We could care less about being treated equally as far as manners go. We want to be treated equally as finances, economy, business, education, property. I mean,
when you go to court, you should be treated equally. So.
Exactly. And all of that is obviously not happening, and it was planned and designed not to happen that way.
And to the statement about integrity has gotten a lot of people killed.
Exactly.
And so that's why there's a lack of it now.
Exactly.
You know, when you stand on that integrity, that bullet comes through your head, and then you end up with Sharpton and Jackson and them type of boys.
Exactly.
You don't end up anymore Shabazz
and
Kings. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's why we haven't seen that in our generation, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So I mean, so you saying basically that's what I'm saying. I think we're cowarding. Like the strong black man is not strong. He's only strong when he can, you know what I'm saying, say what he want to do over a camera or on his phone and all that. But when it's time, okay, let's go stand out there. Make sure they ain't harming our black women. Make sure the people can vote and all that. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all at? Like, you can't go stand out there. We ain't trying to start no trouble, but you know what I'm saying? We should be there, is what I'm saying.
Check game. Who was, and I'm not bragging, but who was the first person to say, I'm going to go out to dance tap house and do something?
You.
I did that, right?
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, I'm on the phone with her like, yo, you got to chill with all the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Because you might be arguing with somebody living in their basement, mom basement.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And when I'm standing out there, and I'm talking about, that's a nasty feeling place, bro.
Yeah.
I seen dudes pull up and drive past me and put their window down and look at me when I was standing out there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then she had a worker, all of a sudden she got COVID. The day of the event.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You was there. Matter of fact, you was there. On top of that, I kept on telling her, look, you got to be careful. You in Boonesboro, you're going to have people on your team who not really rocking with you like that. No, my team is cool. I said, this is a different monster.
Yeah.
What happened? She had to put restraining orders against like 2 employees. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's a different monster. So when we talk about integrity, I'm Charlotte is sterile. But when we talk about integrity, it's threatened by fear. You see what I'm saying? And so do I change my tone from how I'm talking to y'all, and then when I go behind the door?
Yeah.
Am I different? Because we know, right? We know King didn't do that.
Exactly.
But we have to change the strategy too. I agree with you. The reason why there's a lack of integrity is due to fear, because people know, if you do this, this is what you're open to, what your family is open to.
Exactly.
So there has to be a realignment of strategy. Plus, like you were saying, how come no one's standing out there protecting voters? Making sure things are going the way they should go, protecting protesters. I mean, honestly, we saw this with the Black Panthers in California. When Ronald Reagan was governor, they changed the rules.
Exactly. And that's what they're gonna do.
Then you're illegal. Now you locked up, discredited. It's the same old game. So we gotta re-strategize how we're gonna have integrity.
Exactly.
By planning ahead and knowing the law.
Exactly. You wanted to come in?
I'm good. No, I mean, so back to Kaleem's point, so you need to know the environment before, if you want to take a stance on something. Yes, you need to protect your own safety though first, but your business, because she also has employees that rely on their income. Charlotte's awesome, but at the end of the day, people are going to use that situation to their advantage. They're going to cry, I had COVID or whatever. She did test positive, I believe, but it's got to be careful in how you do it.
Well, my whole thing is with the social media stuff. You can really get busy. There was no social media with King and all these boys, right?
No.
And so you can really get busy doing the real work without the social media, like what you say earlier, right? The pop real quick, the photo pop. You can really get busy. And so what happens though is people want to give the middle finger on with the, on social media, see who get the most likes, who get the most comments.
Exactly.
You feel me? And at that point, though, are you really doing anything to really impact change? You feel me?
Right there.
Let me read these comments, 2 comments. Courtney, he says, standing out there is one thing, but does that really change things? Really change is policy and legislation, pen to paper. And then Alicia said, when I ran for office, she had armed bodyguards.
As you should. That's
so
wise.
back to policy. So the first thing to change policy is voting for who you believe in. Unfortunately, if that person doesn't get elected that you voted for, then what you need to do is the next person, if they did win, is going to their office, writing a letter to them and saying, this is what change we need. If they're not able to do it, then you find somebody, so in Annapolis, for example, you want to change judiciary. We all know that people in Western Maryland are Republicans. They're not going to do what we need. So we're going to go to Montgomery County. Colonel William, forget his name, from Montgomery County, he's trying to change the laws when it comes to policing in Maryland. Colonel William Smith, that's who his name is.
Okay.
So we go to his office and we say, okay, this is what we need. We get his attention. He's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in the Maryland Senate. We get him on his radar. We can that's where you make change. It's not on the legislative floor, but it's in the committee meetings where you can grab their ears and tell them your stories, how you've been affected by the judicial system, whatever. Yes, elections are important. We're not going to be able to get a Democrat elected this in Western Maryland, like in the Senate or in House of Delegates, maybe in the next couple of years. But you go around them. You find opportunities to go around them.
Yeah, I mean, with that, yeah. But the first step is you got to have numbers.
That too.
I mean, it might be different for the others. I mean, we as black people, you know what I'm saying, we're vocal. It's always somebody in your crew that's super vocal, and they're going to tell it how it is. But if you don't have the backing, they're going to hear you like, I hear exactly what you're saying, sir. Yeah, I think we should change the laws, and I think it should be people that look like you governing your neighborhood. And then integrity's going to kick in, because when you leave that office, they're going to be like, I ain't worried about what the fuck he talking about.
But check right.
Indeed.
Seriously,
Put it on blast.
seriously, I don't know how many people use govtrack.us,
That's a big website.
but you have to use that because I just wanted to check it to see how many bills were being offered up since Floyd, since Breonna, in regards to police reforms.
Right.
It's not one. It's things talking about the protection of black women on here. There's things on here talking about Jewish holidays on here. There's things on here about indigenous folks on here. And I'm talking about Democrats, Republicans, all of them.
Exactly.
The only thing that got a 94% chance of passing is the recognition of Juneteenth.
Yes.
The celebratory stuff.
Because that looks good.
It looks good. You
Right.
can put a cape on it.
Right.
But where's the meat at?
Right.
So,
I'm talking. It's in there. Like this is the actual offering. So real quick, y'all ever see Charm City yet? The documentary.
I started watching it.
Yeah.
You talking about Baltimore?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
50% unemployment rate for African Americans out there. In the state of Maryland, 70% of the prison population is black men.
Yep.
Now I moved from Ohio thinking I was coming to Maryland to get some more. You know what I mean? 70%. All right.
and that has to do with the war on drugs.
Well, yeah, but hold on. So 1,029 people were killed over a 3-year period during the filming of the documentary. You feel me? And then when they say they need more policing, the police were paid $40 million in overtime
Oh yeah.
annually.
Yep.
Now, I don't know, y'all been out to Baltimore lately, but I was out there at a 7-Eleven. It was late at night. I'm grabbing something to drink, and I'm sitting in my car. It's 3 cops right there, and people selling dope right next to them, and nothing is happening.
Nah, man.
Nothing is happening. So they just collecting that overtime. Now listen, I'm a firm believer in a lot of people not from the environment speaking on the environment.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it is a huge stress for everybody involved. You feel what I mean?
Right.
But it's for me, it's hard. You know, when I hear a politician or a person who not in that element talking about what matters or what doesn't matter, what kind of reforms need to be offered up, so forth and so on. If you grew up in that, you're like, dog, like
And then the misinformation that comes with it.
with it, right?
Like
you're
Kim
not in it.
Klacik
Right.
taking that advantage, and that opportunity to exploit, the statistics and kind of sway them to, make it look like she's, trying to look out for you. You know?
Well, check. Anybody can know the truth and not believe it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What she was saying was the obvious.
But also too is that cop in a situation where he doesn't want to overstep the boundaries of his neighborhood and put himself in a situation where he fears for his life or his family.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of his job though.
Well, I know I agree with you. No, I agree.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
totally agree
of
with
that's
you.
kind of
why-
his job.
No, it is his job. Yeah, he puts himself.
When do they not do that? Like,
Yeah,
when,
you're- I agree with you, but that's what I'm saying is, so I have family and I have people in my family that are cops. They're good cops. They don't see black or white, which I hope they don't, that I know of. But like, I would hate to be in their situation. I really would, because they're making split-second decisions. And they don't see color. I can tell you that. They don't. Like my cousin, he never was in that situation, but
Well, I mean, look, no doubt.
it's hard to.
No doubt, they in a situation, especially right now.
Yeah.
Their popularity
That's
is,
what I mean.
is crazy,
That's what it comes down
and
to.
rightfully so. Their popularity is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the real disservice to the police is the enablement coming from their unions.
Oh yeah, FOP.
Coming from politicians that's using them as a ways to get favor
Endorsements.
from basically mindless voters. I mean, let's be honest. We can keep hearing this narrative about how Trump is getting all of the support from the police when he's asked a question about George Floyd. That makes no sense. Like we need some kind of police reform. We need to, and look, I might be unpopular saying this, we need to defund the police.
I wouldn't say-
Because honestly, let me just say this.
Yeah.
When the public schools don't perform, they don't get the budget they ask for. Anybody else in the state that doesn't perform, any agency that doesn't perform,
Lose money.
they don't get the budget that they ask for. And then they struggle. And then who struggles? Our kids, healthcare workers, et cetera. So why are the police getting unchecked, just millions in budget a year? For
No,
what?
I agree with you on that. It's not defunding; it's refunding
Yeah.
to the right priorities.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, no,
the,
you're
the
fine.
naming
No,
is a
yeah.
bad look, but yeah, it should be refunded, to mental health,
Crisis
in
management.
the community, right?
Yeah,
So
I
we
mean-
can curb some of the crime we got going on. So we can actually do something about it instead of always punishing it.
Here goes some reform though, right? So I grew up in Philly. I don't know if you've been in that part.
Yeah.
But in big cities, the cops cannot work in the district that they are from.
Exactly.
They can't.
That makes sense.
And hold on, no, check it out. In the suburbs, in the more rural communities,
they can.
you
Oh.
better be from that community. So now when you pull over Brad, it's what's up, Bob.
Exactly.
It's a breaking of the tension because of the familiarity, right? Now in the hood, that cop, to your point, is just trying to get back home. So he already on 10 because he's been told everybody's a criminal.
Exactly.
Okay? The person that he just pulled over don't know him.
Exactly.
So now they tense, right? Imagine if you had two partners, one cop was from the district and one wasn't. So that way, if you have some kids playing basketball, that's what they do every day. Yo, them boys over there, all they do is shoot hoops, talk trash. That's all they do.
Exactly.
Them dudes over there, that's our problem.
Exactly.
So now you have a distinction. But when you come into an environment and everybody is a stranger and everybody's a criminal, you're gonna be on 10 from the rip.
No, I agree with you on that.
You're a wartime cop.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you're
You're a soldier. You're not policing. You're soldier.
100% of the time.
And that's what it seems like. I mean, I'm older in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a city boy to the bone, you know what I'm saying? Like back in our rapping days, you know what I'm saying? We used to take them into DC and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I know. That's why I'm comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? But it's when you dealing with the police in the city, it's a different feel than out here. When I get pulled over by like Hagerstown police or somebody like that, I ain't on go. But when I was home, when I'm home, if I'm in Philadelphia, let's say I go to Philadelphia to see my uncle, a Philadelphia cop get behind me, I'm annoyed.
Nasty.
I'm annoyed because I don't know how he's going to approach me when he come to the car, because I'm already going to be mad, especially if I think it was for something stupid. So now I'm trying to think, should I say something to this motherfucker? Right. And he's thinking the same thing. But like you said, they feel city blacks are violent, regardless. I could have on a yarmulke. You know what I'm saying? With the two braids, like the Jewish dudes, you know what I'm saying? They still gonna think that, oh, he trying to hide. He must got drugs in the car. So they think they walking up to the car already fearing the worst. So me making a sudden movement, they gonna shoot me. Or they gonna do something. It's a good chance that they might shoot me, or they gonna do something that is unwarranted. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And it causes people like me, almost 50 years old, they're not like the police, right? And it's not nothing bad towards cops. It don't even got nothing to do with cops, because I know cool cops. I got family members that's cops also, but at the same time, I still don't like cops because they do this. If you looking from the outside looking at the cops, they do the same thing I do. A cop kills somebody, they gonna tell all the other cops, don't say nothing. Right. Don't snitch. But then if I walk around the neighborhood with a stop snitching shirt, they want to lock me up. Right. Give me a fine. Why I can't snitch, but you can't? Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So here's the scenario. So a couple years ago, I'll tell people, a couple years ago, I was in Baltimore, got pulled over outside a convenience store. Times were tough, so I forgot to pay my car insurance or whatever. My insurance registration, everything was frozen. Cop pulled me over. He said, "I'll let you." I'm a white boy now in Baltimore. He's like, "I'll let you drive out of here. I didn't see you, but I have to think to myself, if I was black, would I have been treated differently?"
Yeah, you would have.
When he had searched my whole freaking car.
Yes,
when he had torn my car apart.
He would have.
But he also saw a volunteer firefighter thing in my car too. But I still think to this day, if I was a different color, black, Mexican, whatever, would I have been treated completely differently?
No,
how old was the cop? How old was the cop?
They were young kids. They probably would have stripped my whole car apart.
See, if you talk to older cops, they believe that younger cops are far more aggressive because they're trying to get kudos, get back to the department and get a pat on the back. If I've been pulled over 30 times, I would say 4 times I dealt with a complete idiot. You know what I'm saying? 26 times, I might have deserved it. I deserved the situation, but they let me go, or I might have got a ticket. But 4 times I dealt with somebody that was trying to pull me out of my character. Like when I got pulled over a couple months ago, I'm in an all-black car, wearing black T-shirt, black pants, black boots, black do-rag. And how many kids you have?
Yeah, trying to provoke you.
Yeah, I'm in Chambersburg.
Yeah.
I'm coming from Philly. I'm cutting through Chambersburg. He asked me, why did I move to Hagerstown? Who do I work for? You know, why am I in the rental car? Can't this get expensive? And I'm sitting there going, he really trying to pull me out of that, you know what I mean, that comfort zone.
Right.
But when I was 16 and I first got my license, my uncle had said to me and my cousin, yes, sir. Yes, man. Get the hell up out of there.
Exactly.
Get home.
You gotta get on the soft shoe sometimes.
Yeah, because you're not in a position of power. You know what I mean? Sometimes you watch some of these videos and you're like, yo, my man, chill. You know what I mean?
Yo.
But cause we all been a part of that. You know what I mean?
What happens when you, in my situation, I was home. I'm at home. Police come, knock on the door, open the door, don't even, address himself as officer friendly, none of that. Looks past me, right? Where your friends at? I tried to call you. Told me you tried to call me. Basically doing all this mysterious stuff to get me out of my, off my square and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grab my phone, put them up. You know what I'm saying? And then, the story I got was something so ridiculous, young, that
We knocked on the wrong
I
door.
still don't understand why it was so disturbing. I called the police on the police after he left. You know what I mean?
mad
I
at
had to find out, like, yo, why are you coming to my house?
Yeah, I
But
ain't
y'all,
mad at that.
y'all remember
It's
though,
crazy.
the whole thing with Floyd happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's up in arms, people marching. Some cops decided to march with the marches.
Yeah.
Some cops took
Yeah,
a
they took
knee
knees, yeah.
with the marches.
Yeah.
2 days later, they was on TV apologizing to their brethren because the
doing that.
union boys got on them.
Well, they didn't want to be shot in the back. for
Well,
much.
yeah. And there was a cop out in Baltimore a few years ago who was shot the day before he was supposed to testify against corrupt cops.
Exactly.
That's right.
So the same fear that they deal with in regards to doing the right thing is the same stuff that we deal with in regards to.
Integrity.
Right.
Like their integrity shot too. They carrying it like they in the street. You know what I'm saying? So like street, we got this attitude like you a op. Like the cop is a op. Like he's another gang member. So yeah, that's how we look at it. And it's fucked up that we look at it that way, but that's how we look at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking from what I know. You know what I'm saying? When I talk to you, everybody know I work with badass kids. You know what I'm saying? And they all feel the same way about so it gotta be beyond. You know what I'm saying? That shit is like ingrained in you because they all feel the same way. They don't have to be taught. It ain't like you sit down with your son when he turned 10, like, yeah, we gonna say fuck the police, like NWA said. We don't do that. They just grow up and naturally they hate the police. Yeah, they just naturally hate the police. But we gonna get off the police. I'm gonna go into the next question. Like, what is your feelings on riots, looting, and protests? Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because when I talk my shit, people jump in my DMs and say, and then they know they find out that I'm ignorant. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about protesting, looting, and all that, like. I think sometimes it shouldn't be done, but at the same time, it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like you did what you did. You can listen to old Betamax tapes, man. We talking about the same shit. Still, cops killing blacks, harassments. We been talking about it generation after generation after generation. Ain't shit getting done. And I'm not saying that they need to go out there and ride and loot there, but sometimes we got to change it up. Like, okay, we've been riding and looting and all this, nothing is changing. Okay, but now they listening. They getting scared because now they ain't doing it like they did it in the 70s and 80s. That they was doing it in their neighborhood. Now, them motherfuckers in Philly went downtown. They went downtown and fucked up the Gucci store and all that. You know what I'm saying? So now them people like, oh shit. Man, they catching the bus down here to riot and loot. You know what I'm saying? So now they getting scared. And I'm not saying that, intimidation, you know what I'm saying? It cuts both ways. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have a problem with it. I just think sometimes once it started, you get, like I said, the little Darryls. The little, oh shit. Free TVs. That nigga don't give a fuck about who got shot. That nigga running up in stores.
You getting washers and
what?
tires.
That nigga going hard. You know what I'm saying? That nigga come down there with a box truck. Like, nigga, how you know we was riding? That nigga got a box truck down there. Shabazz, hey, you know what I'm saying? He got a crew in the back. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it get fucked up because that's not the message. You know what I'm saying? But it happened.
Well, like at the black lady in Baltimore a couple years ago, her son should have been in school or something, and she saw where he was at in the mall or whatever, and she walked up to him and said, like, this is what we do or whatever. I mean, I understand why he's there, but I also see where the mother's coming from. The mother trying to set a good example for him.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, because
like if you're going to succeed in life as a black man, you got to be careful on how you present yourself, because if you try to go do a job interview and he goes, "Well, I saw you on the news or whatever," how are you going to be able to get that job then?
and see, but and I know you didn't mean it intentionally.
no, I didn't mean no.
But when you say stuff like we have to be careful,
Well, I'm
that's
saying
what
both
I know
ways,
you
yeah.
didn't mean it intentionally,
Yeah.
but that's what get us fired up. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's a situation where I watch these people burning down stores, taking sneakers over the Walter Wallace murder.
Exactly.
I know it don't have anything to do with the Walter Wallace murder, but I can't bring myself to care about some damn New Balances. It's just a thing. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like it's just a vibe. So it's frustrating because for me, what I do, I don't really involve myself in protest anymore at my age.
Yeah.
I like to get behind strategy and solutions and try to really help people. That's where I'm at with it. So for instance, I met with a dude, Potential Donor, the other day, and he was one of the people that helped support the Black Lives Matter billboard going up in Boonesboro. Now,
okay.
Now check me out. That little white woman, she raised over $3,000 in like 3 or 4 days. And then you got people out here doing real work, getting busy, and can't raise $5. And so he say to me, well, with all due respect, Kaleem, it is a sign of unity. Now this person has a 40-person company with no black people working for him. Now, see, you worried about that slogan, but you're not really worried about the motion. You know what I'm saying? Then
He's trying to get people in his business then, whatever his business.
Well, nobody would know that he donated
Yeah.
to it. It was just something that he felt fired up about doing.
Which is great.
You got to understand. See, I believe, obviously, I rock with Black Lives Matter, but some people have used the slogan just to give somebody else a middle finger, and they're not really behind what's really there. So when we talk about issues of equity and equality, how do you get behind the billboard, but then when we look at your staff, we not existing? You see what I'm saying? Like, you have an opportunity to really impact the lives of the people in this community,
Exactly.
but you're not doing it economically.
Right.
That's where we at with it.
Exactly.
Like, nobody really cares.
It's just trending.
Well, like
It's
that, I
popular.
kind of talked to you before COVID was, and I said we need to go to, like, when I was working part time in Martin's, is we need to go to Martin's and say, hey, you have a lot of great black women working for you as cashiers or whatever. Why don't we try to work with them, partner with them to try to help them move up in the company? If they want to go to college, we offer them scholarship money or to get them to come back and become managers, store managers, and give them an opportunity to rise up in the company.
Yeah, but I watched it real quick. A joint on the Miami riots.
Yeah.
And Trick Daddy was on there talking about what happened, and he said, "Man, we tore our own shit down." And then he said, and then the police came around and took all that furniture and shit back from them.
Exactly.
So that there was no justice involved in it, but the actual item. See, African Americans are going to be 70% renters in any community they in. So the police that's in those, because no such thing as really as a black community.
Exactly. We won't have that.
But the police that's in that area, they're there to protect the businesses and the assets. You know what I mean? So when we burning that shit down, we really not looking at it like it's ours.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Exactly.
It's not.
Exactly.
I just want to say, like, on the protests, riots, and looting and all of that. I hate that those things are included with what the message of the protest is. It feels like, okay, you're going to have riots, especially when we're protesting something serious.
Exactly.
You're going to have riots. When due process isn't working, we've been protesting, we've been doing all the right things, nothing happens. It's on video, it's witnesses, it's this, that, and the third.
Exactly.
We was lied to, and then boom, the verdict comes out. What did you expect?
Yeah.
A free, a peaceful march? I mean, of course there's going to be protests, but of course going to be protests, but there's also going to be riots.
Yeah.
We should not be focusing on, the riots. We should be focusing on why the riots are happening.
Period.
Yeah.
All right? We shouldn't
Yeah,
be focusing and blaming the people rioting. We should be asking why.
But that's what the
You
news
know.
media comes into.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the news
But
media
the
will
social
spin it.
media
Yeah.
response, which isn't the news media, when you read the comments
Yeah.
and you see how people respond to protests and riots, they're more concerned about the property.
Yeah.
They don't care about the whole reasoning behind this whole thing, the cause and effect of it.
So, with that being said, what do y'all think as the people we can do different to get our point across other than protest, riot? Because I went to both Million Man marches in D.C. Both. You know what I'm saying? And the first one, they was talking about atonement.
Yeah.
Atonement. And the next week, we left that motherfucker, ain't nobody atone shit.
Yeah.
We still talking about atonement. And that shit happened in 96.
But you know they sent the offering plate around that joint too.
Quick.
We need an
Quick.
agenda.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. So my thing is like, what like, as I'm using my platform so we can talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's all change starts when you start talking about it. Because you can talk, we can disagree. We all grown ass men. I might say something, you be like, man, nah, that ain't the way, Chuck. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I might be radical. I might be the motherfucker that want to fight. You know what I'm saying? I want to bite a motherfucker ear off like Tyson. You know what I'm saying? And then you more, you know what I'm saying? You more the numbers man. You know what I'm saying? That can help me because I don't do numbers. I'm not good with numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm this type motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm using my fingers and shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't good with numbers. You know what I'm saying? But what can we just talk about? What could we do different other than protests and riots? Because, you know what I'm saying, the riots aren't solving anything. You know what I'm saying? Because all they do is, it happens, it does happen, and I don't really, you know what I'm saying, it's cool, it happens. But then they get new legislation and change the rules. You know what I'm saying? Put you grown ass, you gotta be in the house at 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, they change the rules on you on the fly.
But the cycles, they know, is an emotional roller coaster. So they give us 3 days to
get burned
go
out.
Yeah, they give us 3 days to go wild, and then they gonna be calm by Thursday, right? And then hopefully nobody else get killed. You know what I mean? And so when I was with my wife traveling a couple of weeks ago, we was going back and forth. I said, Tamara, it's the emotion that's killing us, man. Like, what we gonna get emotional every time somebody get killed now? Because they're gonna keep on getting killed. So either we're gonna start strategizing and start doing things, or we're gonna get high on emotion, right? And lose ourselves. Because it's gonna be another Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Unfortunately, it is.
saying? It's gonna be another Floyd. It's gonna be another Jacob Blake. That's the way it goes.
Exactly.
So to your question about what do, we have to actually have plans that are going to matter in regard to reform. People really got to start using stuff like GovTrack, and I'm saying that intentionally because we're all being encouraged to go out and vote, but they're not working. They're not working, B. Where's the offerings for reform at since this situation? Like seriously, like Trump called the NFL players sons of bitches a couple of years ago. Biden called the sons of bitches in '94.
Big facts.
You see what I'm saying? So where are we at with it?
So on the local level, I've been involved in politics since I've been just in high school. So let's just say we'll take a historic black section. We do focus on the Johnson Street area, that precinct. That precinct has a very low level of voter turnout. Now, when Obama ran, they voted for the first black president of the United States, which I understand why they went out and voted. The lines were around Bethel Garden Center, literally wrapped around the building. The way you get politicians' attention is voter turnout. It doesn't matter if it's presidential, county commissioner, mayor, gubernatorial, voter turnout. Joanne Benson will tell you this, and I'm sure she probably did. When you get voter turnout high, people somewhat pay attention to you. Because they're not going to focus on a community that doesn't vote.
Well, you know why they don't vote, though, right?
I understand why they don't vote.
Yeah.
Because they don't feel their vote matters.
Right,
and that's the reason why.
And this is a serious question.
No, I agree.
And this is a serious question.
No.
Now, why should they feel like it matters? I'm asking you, like, why should they feel like it matters?
They should feel like it matters because when they do turn out to vote, people pay attention. So once we find something for COVID, get it under control. Maybe your organization or somebody's organization, we can get a bus load of people. It's good. We have an issue. It's in front of a committee. Go to Annapolis, and we march, protest, or whatever. We knock on somebody's door. We go to the committee hearing, and we demand a response to what needs to happen here in Hagerstown. Unfortunately, we live so far away from Annapolis, an hour and a half. It's not easy to do. But if you look at other areas, say guns, for example, or whatever, you have like the NRA or whatever, they pay for people to go to Annapolis or whatever, lobbyists. We get a group load of people, business owners, people that you know, that you trust, and we put them in front of the committee chairs, and we change the rules and the laws.
I think
So yeah, you got anything like
Yeah,
what I'm trying to get, like something
that we can
Like
do
a
different.
crust that we can do different.
Right.
Well, that's
so what I'm-
that's the
what
first
I'm-
thing.
Right, and I think that matters, but I think there's a couple steps first that need to be taken. Like, for instance, voting, yeah, but you got to know what you're voting for. You got to know why you're voting. You got to know that voting, just because you're voting, that's not really going to change everything. Because politics is an art of exchange.
Money.
There's money involved. So you have to organize some businesses that have your interest, which is the black community's interest, black businesses. We have to have an agenda because we're too scattered with agendas. We don't have one solid movement. You understand? Like,
cool.
for instance, like my man said, we don't even have a community. Like
At all.
you got Little Italy, Chinatown.
Chinatown.
You got all these little spots, right, for other immigrants and stuff, but
They're fighting
we're
against
not
each other.
really immigrants. We're kind of hostages that became citizens. But at the same time, we have to get to an agenda. We have to get enough capital in order to make change happen with the politics of the politicians that we're voting for. Because without money, you ain't got no power. You ain't got no say in politics.
So we talk about opportunity zones, right?
Yep.
Now, I know when Trump say certain things, he doing it out of spite. So he brought up opportunity zones and why African Americans don't know about those opportunity zones. In most African American, predominantly cities where we're at,
Exactly.
there's going to be black representation, council people, so forth and so on. It should be their job to go out into these communities and talk to local black business owners
Yes.
about the opportunity zones and how they work. You're talking about not paying capital gains tax until 2026. Well, most of us are self-funded.
Exactly.
No credit. We operating off the bag, and we can have a situation where we don't have to pay taxes on profit. Why? So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. That kind of education has to happen so we can thrive economically and then hire people. Because now I'm not paying that capital gains tax. I can hire more people in my restaurant or in my clothing store. Because most of us are functioning off of we're self-funded.
Self-funded.
Right. And so when people talk about equity and all that stuff, it sounds good, right? But if you own a restaurant and you got a full line of credit from Chase and Big Chuck owns one, I can't go into y'all restaurant and offer y'all the same service at the same price. Because with him, he has to use some of his money for inventory, rent, everything else. And with you got $30,000 on the line.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So these are the kind of things, and I don't like to talk about some of the stuff that I'm doing, but
Yeah.
I'm going to be working with C. Russell and Bester doing a new program called Spark, tapping into these kids' imagination. And not only doing that, but then if they say they want to do something, try to make sure we have the resources available where we can channel them right into it. You understand what I'm saying? Then the next phase is there's a lot of us sitting in prison. We got kids at home. Those kids are forgotten about. And so now we need to create an environment where we can step up and deal with those kids where their father might be sitting in prison because he might have lived in an area like Baltimore where 50% unemployment is happening. Right. And in the state of Maryland where you got 70% of the prison population is us, that's a huge void where we can step up and deal with these kids and raise them, you know what I mean? And help them understand that somebody does care about them and really want to guide them. So that's just a solution that I'm working on. I ain't been on social media a lot lately. I'm really focused on setting that program up the right way and getting it done. And what I had to understand was you can't put on a cape for every situation.
Exactly.
You know, 'cause you want to do everything. There's so many different issues to address, but you gotta let the person that's good at bread do the bread.
Well,
You feel me?
So me being a white person, so let's just say I moved into Hagerstown, and I want to get involved, and I want to help the black community or whatever community. There's not an organization right now that I can go to and say, okay, I want to get involved. Let's just use the NAACP right now. Fred's working on that, which is awesome. That's the organization I would like to see as maybe the circle, and you go to them and be like, hey, this is what I want to do, and they okay, we'll point you in all these directions. If I want to get in entrepreneurship or in Clean's organization, they'll point you into Clean. But it's like I said, there's so many different ideas out there. Hopefully, they're not working against each other. But
Kinda.
yeah.
Always.
But always. Every organization is working against each other to an extent. But what I'm saying though is, if I'm new to the area, I want to be able to come in and get my feet dirty.
But you gotta understand. All right, I'm sorry. I want to see something. Let me know. But you gotta understand. I had to realize I'm more so of a private person. So when I got busy, started doing the work, everybody wanted to volunteer. Everybody wanted to help me. And as my man told me, some people there to spectate, some people there to investigate, and some people there to instigate. And you don't know this, you know what I mean, because you fired up and you full of that zeal, you want to get things done. But then people take advantage of that. And I had a couple of people from this city, and city officials, elected officials right now, check this out, invite me to lunch, right?
I see where you're going.
And say to me, hey man, we see how you get down, we see you get busy, you get things done. The people in the community really want a Black Lives Matter mural, and we was hoping that you can get it done because the city doesn't have any money right now. Follow me, this is a true story, y'all know y'all.
Yeah.
They said we don't have any money right now, so if you can pull it together, you can say the city supports it, then we'll support it, but we just don't have the money right now because people are about to get evicted, the city about to lay people off. I said, all right, cool. Now, I already knew the people that was thinking about getting this done. Well, a couple of weeks later, I'm hearing about, and no knock on him, but my man Graff that did the joint at Wheaton Park. They paid him $12,000 for abstract art. The city did. They was trying to get me to
Do it for nothing. Like,
use my resources for a Black Lives Matter mural. They said they didn't have the money. See what I'm saying?
Wow.
So this is elected officials that tried this. And what I'm talking about is not just them, it's people that will try to use your fire, use your energy, use your light.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they think you want that attention or they think you desperate. I'm not desperate by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very calculated. You know what I mean? So after that happened, I called up the people like, yo, these people just tried to act, you know what I mean? They asked me about your situation.
Exactly.
So those things happen, man, and it actually gets you frustrated. And that's why I'm an independent more than, you say, a Democrat or a Republican, because I've seen I've been on the phone with Democrats,
I agree with you.
straight lies. You know what I mean? It's politics.
Exactly.
It's
That's
politics.
that's
You know what I mean?
politicians are going to do what benefits
I
them.
changed unaffiliated myself.
Did you have some to go on it? I mean, like I said, we can go forever for this. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely a good topic. And I mean, if y'all don't mind, I'll bring y'all back on another show because, you know what I'm saying? Like my last question is basically everything we've been talking about. And that was, how do you feel about what's going on in America? Like everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like right now, America is like a melting pot. It's like a talk show. Like if anybody don't live in America watching the news, they like, God damn, I wonder something is happening every day.
It's like Jerry Springer, like,
Yes.
100% of the time.
Yes.
You have a Biden bus get run off the road in Austin, Texas. They tried to run a motherfucker off the road.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's just the work. America, man. It's like I don't know how they gonna get it back. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying earlier. Like and I know people be like, damn, Chuck always on go mode, but that's what I come from. You know what I'm saying? And like I said when we had that meeting, I'm scared of that shit. I know what's exactly.
You know what's past that line, and you're afraid that if it gets past that line, how's it gonna come back?
It ain't. It's what this. I'm gonna tell you why I'm scared, because this one thing, I'm looking at camera. This one thing I can guarantee you. Once you give them boys that power, they not giving it back, man. If somebody's so scared and they go, well, let me go and hire the OGs or the Bloods in LA to protect my party. You ain't getting it back.
Well, that's the thing too. Is in these cities, and
They gonna leave the city though. If you affiliated with something that's going on, let's just say, fuck politics. Business. You got a billionaire, he like, well, fuck it. How I can protect my shit is I can use these like how they used to do back in the day, like in the Bronx when they was burning down all the motherfucking houses because the white man wanted that land.
They're gonna protect their gang with the gangs or whatever.
Yeah, no, they're gonna hire the gangs to do their dirty work.
I mean, yeah.
Now, if me nowadays you got social media, so if I know you're Kaleem Muhammad, the billionaire that lives in LA, and you just hired me to make sure that I burn, you know what I'm saying, that I intimidate Jonathan Street because your company wants it. Yeah. When shit don't go my way, who the fuck you think I'm gonna call on? Yeah. Kaleem Muhammad. Yeah. And I know that. So now I know who you are. So you already know how I carry it. I carry it extreme. You understand what I'm saying? So not only are you doing business with somebody that can turn on you, you know what I'm saying? Like city shit. The biggest drug dealers really be cowards. It be the motherfuckers working for them that people fear. Right. You just got the plug. Yeah. He got the plug. He got the good drugs. So, but if he don't get no serious murders on his side, he not gonna be the only one with good drugs because they gonna keep robbing him.
This sounds like a Chicago PD.
No, this is a city thing.
I know.
This
But it sounds like a series. It sounds like a TV show. Really.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the way that America's going now. Because at the end of the day, it's all turning into they ran up. That man running for president. You gonna run his bus off the like normal mouth? Come on, man. Yeah. Like that's intimidation to your ass. Just imagine if it could have been some goons on that bus. And that bus pulled over, and then they started shooting at them boys and then pick up shots.
Just like the Freedom Riders. And I'm a white boy, and I went to the African American History Museum, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, as a white male, when I walked into that American History Museum in that bottom floor, and I saw the information, the slave ships, and the deaths and stuff, and I walked into the Emmett Till area. I cried. I fucking cried because I was ashamed, and I saw the rock from the slave rock from Hagerstown, and I was standing there beside a white guy, and I said, "It's my hometown." Yeah. Honestly, I wish you guys were there because I fucking cried.
I'm gonna say, right now, I think America is in a really, really different paradigm shift. You know, like we was living in post 9/11, right?
Yep.
We were all Americans.
With that post 9/11 stuff, you know, you had the Patriot Act. A lot of things changed. A lot of things were revealed. I think now we're headed towards a post COVID-19 America. And I think that looks like
survival of the
a
fittest.
lot of people, put it like this, a lot of people are misinformed. Mm-hmm. So when you have misinformation, tribalism, and just fear from a disease that's out there, right? I mean, look, I'm sitting here with a mask on right now, right? That's gonna create the anxiety in America we don't need, man, with the racial tensions, with the political climate, with everything, the economy. People don't know how they're going to support their businesses, how they're going to, put food on the table. All this stuff going on right now, it's really unpredictable. But it kind of leans towards some kind of violent, situation. In some city, I'm not saying it's going to be all of America, but I think we're going to witness something, that we're going to do to ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of. Did you have something, Khalil?
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is, with the social media age, right? Because it was happening before, but it wasn't, it was impossible, right, for it to have the attention that it has now because of the era that we in. But black folks are demanding equity, for real.
Yeah,
right? Like it's a different ball game.
We want a conversation.
And so we're demanding equity. Check this out. While there's still millions of poor whites in this country.
Exactly.
Right? So you have this fear of like, oh, they really coming.
Exactly.
Right? So as King said back in the day, the rich whites continue to lie to poor whites, right? And so when I see a white person online say something like, I'm tired of getting blamed. Ain't nobody blaming your broke ass. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You don't have enough power.
Exactly.
We're not talking about you. We talk about the same power that oppresses you that oppresses us. And that's what we're talking about. But it feels good for them, to think it's them. Exactly. Nobody's talking about you.
Exactly.
So where we're at right now is at a place where black folks we going here, and we're not stopping, and and it's something that people can't understand. You know what I mean? And shout out to my boy Fred. Because Fred is he's a fireball without saying the word. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Like he really got that spirit about him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And there's a couple of cats like that. And so when we talk about this whole where we're at right now and so forth and so on, we got to be really careful because you're going to have. We talk about white people like, no, we got to worry about people that look like me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's willing to make deals.
Exactly.
That's willing to be careful.
Exactly.
That's willing to play it safe.
Exactly.
That's willing, because I benefited from being new here And so everybody was telling me about everybody.
Exactly.
But now I'm starting to become a little bit more ingrained. And so now people talking about me.
About you.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and who are those people?
Exactly.
They don't look like you.
Exactly.
You feel me? If you go, come on, man. If you just go on social media, you see a whole bunch of people leader hopping.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Oh, you a leader today. You a leader. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, this shit ain't no game. And if anybody who know me, no, it's not a game.
Exactly.
Like, I got a son at home. I got a daughter at home. I got a wife at home.
Exactly.
People can find your address at any.
No doubt.
Without a problem.
Exactly.
I had to go grab 2 of them things real quick because I couldn't be out here doing what I'm trying to do and not be. So where we're at in America, to answer your question, is we are at a place of no return. And it's not the America that you knew during 2008. Exactly. It's not that. It's not that welcome Obama stuff.
Exactly.
And lastly, can I say this? Obama was a great president.
Yes, he was.
He struggled in areas of leadership on social issues.
Yeah.
Right? And what I mean by that is,
there was a line.
Down the stretch, right? There was no federal charges ever brought against any of those cops that got off. Yeah. You know what I mean? In local situations.
Exactly.
And I know it was hard. Mm-hmm. I know it was hard. But then as you said earlier, black folks need an agenda. I don't really hold him accountable for what didn't happen in our communities. Black folks, we got to get on code and have an agenda that matters. Period. And now that we're asking for that, and I know, Jeremy, I know you're a 100% Democrat. I've always been around you. But the reality is the Democrats don't understand this new black shit that we doing right now. They don't understand it because we like, yo, we want something now.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you to that point where what you're trying to do right now is not it's not Democrat, Republican. It's bringing black issues to the forefront.
Shout out Ice Cube.
Hold on, for you, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel about America now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is it the same America that you knew?
So in 1993, I went to Antigua. I remember I had to do a project or whatever. I wrote a statement. I wrote this letter, and I wish I could find it somewhere. In Antigua, it was poverty, downright poverty. And I said, I thank God that I live in a free country and I love America and stuff like that. But now that I've told you, I've seen the light, you could say. Yes, we still live in a free country. We still wake up. We still breathe the same air or whatever. But I can tell you that I sit back and I think to myself, okay, if I walked out of this building right now, walking down an alley, as a black man, would I be looked at?
But I want you to talk. I want you to talk from your don't do the black man thing. I want you to talk about how you feel.
So would I feel safe as a white man walking in Hagerstown right now? Yes. Would I feel safer? Yes.
So is it still the America that you love? You love when you was in Antigua?
No, because I understand the fact of it is that if I walk out of a courthouse in Charleston, South Carolina, or Columbia, or wherever, and there's a Confederate statue, that statue's there to entice fear. Why should I have to walk out of if I was in a racial marriage or whatever, and I walked out of there with my little kid, and he looks, Daddy, who's that? I wouldn't want him to know who that is, because Robert E. Lee does not represent America. Robert E. Lee represents racism. He represents somebody that tried to divide this country. Okay. And I mean, and just like these people that deny the Holocaust. I met a Holocaust denier once. I literally wanted to jump across the table and hit him in his face because that's disgusting. Like I'm a history person. I agree that history, like memorials or whatever, need to be on a battlefield, historically correct. I understand why they're there. But I should not have to walk out of a courthouse or a city hall looking at a statue that tried to divide our country and tried to kill people, hang people.
Yeah. Real quick, I know we got to wrap up. So, and one of the things I'm fearful of is making sure that black males and black women are part of the leadership in regards to what's happening in our communities. Because what's happening is, like I said, BLM and slogans like that become a popular thing for some people, especially the hippie type people, right? Mm-hmm. They never been to Baltimore. They never been to Philadelphia. They never been to Chicago. Mm-hmm. So then they start hearing media stories about the murder rate. And all of a sudden they say, see, you didn't know what was happening in that environment. And so now that person that was standing next to me who never really experienced the environment, they start shaking a little bit. Yeah, they don't know. But when you from it, you can literally say, yo, Black Lives Matter. We tired of the police treating us like we're not worth anything. Yes, we have issues in our own community. Exactly. We treat each other like trash, so forth and so on. But if you don't know about that, you have to know you have to know what you're standing up for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because we can't deal with no shapeshifters in this process. And you'll see, seriously, months ago, I was telling black folks, get your paperwork together, get your business together, get your nonprofit together, because you don't want a situation where white women are setting up these civil rights organizations because they're minorities. That's what they're considered to be, a minority. Mm-hmm. They getting all the funding that Big Chuck should get, talking about they representing black folks in their community. They taking 80% of that bread on salaries and operation. Exactly. And then when the donor come back and say, hey, did you get that? Well, no, you gave us $100,000, but we only used $10,000 of that on the program. Exactly. The rest of it, we don't need that. We need real stuff going on. So 95% of the stuff that I've done has been self-funded, period.
And you know, that's a big problem right there. A lot of people taking advantage of, grants and things like that, just because they might fall in a certain demographic that is technically minority, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, Big Chuck, back to, so one thing I realized though, and so I've always reached out to across the aisle, like I wouldn't say across the aisle, but I went to Williamsport High School. The kids from Cedar Ridge went to school with us. I played football. I became friends with a Cedar Ridge boy, Patrick Young, so from Baltimore. Saw his best friend get murdered, I don't know where, and had him in my house, whatever. I mean, best friends, we were good friends. He got out of Cedar Ridge, whatever. He came back to Williamsport. And then when I went to Ohio State, the first thing I did, the first person I became really good friends with, was a black guy. Everybody's like, well, I brought him back home to Hagerstown. It's like, why? How are you friends with Williamsport? And it's like, because, and here's the thing. Here's what makes me mad, though, too. And they go, well, he's the whitest black man I ever met. Say, well, what's a white black man?
Oh yeah, that's a
whole
nother topic. I gotta get ready to wrap the show up. You going to open up a whole nother can of
worms. Well, that's why we need to come back. That's why we need to come back.
I already know. That's what I was going like. Everybody, make sure y'all go out and vote Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go out and vote. Now I want to have y'all back. You know what I'm saying? Probably if y'all available, just look on y'all calendars and everything. Let me know the first Sunday of December, because then hopefully everything would be.
Hopefully we have an election in our back.
Hopefully we'll know somebody conceded, and everything. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all don't mind, I want to invite y'all back, because the first week is the week I always do politics and I think this was a good conversation, and we can elaborate on what we was talking about and come back with some more, because what y'all was saying, like that, I think that's needed. Like what you said about, you know what I'm saying, everything about the talking and moving and people working together needs to be, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely something we can do instead of just going out there and protest and riot. You know what I'm saying? Because when we get the bag and all that, and we got the nonprofits that's really working for us, and we got the money man out there that got a business that's making sure the nonprofits got money. We got different businesses dealing like that. Now when we come to talk, we talking. You feel me? Now they ain't got no choice to listen, because like if you all right, like let's say you was running for something in 2 years, and we come talk to you and you blow us off. All right, well, we gonna take our numbers and our money somewhere else. You gonna be hold, let me holler at you real fast. You know what I'm saying? You gonna change your tune. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Maybe we can come up with something, and I'm gonna reach out to some nonprofits and everything by December 1st that's doing something that I think, I can't look at their books, but that I think they're actually helping out us, and maybe talk about them or elaborate on, look up the paperwork or something like that. And we might have to call a couple of y'all motherfuckers out if y'all saying y'all looking out for us and it ain't looking out for us. I'm gonna say that shit on the show.
So, Big Chuck, one thing. So tomorrow's the last day of early voting. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow at the Virginia Avenue site. On Tuesday, you can vote at any voting site in Washington County. Doesn't matter if you live in the Bethel Gardens or if you live in South County. You can go to any voting site in Washington County. That's open. There's 11 of them. So if Uber, I do know that Lyft is offering a 50% discount to go vote. I don't know about Uber. If you're in line at 8 o'clock p.m., they have to allow you to vote. You have to be in line. I did hear that they are worried about long lines at North High because of that population. So if you live in Bethel Gardens and Johnson Street area, you can go to Bester, you can go to South High. But you definitely make sure you vote. But like I said, Bethel Center, you're not going to be able to vote at Bethel Center because of the COVID, because they reduced the number of voting sites. So North High, Bester, South High is the three major city and Girls Egg, three major voting centers in the city of Hagerstown that you can vote at on election day.
All right. And with that being said, man, thank y'all for coming on the show. I think it was a good show. People was chiming in the whole time.
I'm fired up.
And hopefully I can get y'all back on December 1st. And with that being said, we are out.
You got me fired up, man. I'm ready to go.